Gender equality is a pivotal goal in today's world, but it's not one that women can achieve alone. True equality can only happen when both women and men are advancing towards that goal together.
Look for the silver lining whenever a cloud appears in the blue.
Hello and welcome to Between Us. Make every conversation count. I'm your host Santosh Kumar, and today we're going to talk about something that is being discussed a lot, but it's not always fully understood: gender equality. Now, this is a topic that can stir emotions, hope, frustration, even defensiveness. And that's because gender equality isn't just about policies or paychecks. It's about culture, identity, and the roles we play in our society. So in today's episode, we are not just going to talk about what gender equality is, but also why it's such a complicated issue. We'll hear perspectives from all sides, explore the barriers people face, and reflect on what a truly equal society might look like. So let's begin with, what do we mean by gender equality? That's a fundamental question to ask, right? Many people assume it's about treating everyone the same. But that's not quite accurate. True equality means recognizing that people have different needs, experiences, and challenges, and creating systems that allow everyone to thrive. It's not about erasing gender. It's about removing the barriers that hold people back because of it. For example, let's look at caregiving. In many cultures, caregiving is seen as a woman's responsibility. This expectation often limits women's career opportunities while placing immense pressure on men to be the sole breadwinners. Gender equality isn't about forcing men into caregiving roles or women into offices. It's about giving everyone the freedom to choose their path without judgment or systemic obstacles. When we talk about gender equality, it's important to recognize that everyone has a stake in this conversation. Let's consider men's perspective for a moment. For decades, men have been expected to provide and protect. And while this role may bring pride, it also comes with immense pressure. Men are often discouraged from expressing vulnerability or pursuing roles that don't align with traditional masculinity, like being a stay-at-home dad or a nurse. On the other hand, women have fought tirelessly for the right to education, employment, and safety, basic rights that should never have been up for debate. Yet, even today, women often face workplace discrimination, unequal pay, and expectations to do it all, excel professionally while managing a household. But here's the thing. These struggles aren't opposing. They are two sides of the same coin. The societal structures that limit one gender often hurt the other. For example, a workplace that doesn't offer paternity leave reinforces the idea that caregiving is solely a woman's job, perpetuating inequality for both genders. To understand gender equality deeply, we also need to consider its cultural and historical roots. For centuries, societies were organized around rigid gender roles. Men hunted and led, women nurtured and cared. While these roles were practical at the time, they became entrenched in culture, even as societies evolved. Today, these roles no longer serve us in the same way, but their legacy persists. For example, in many cultures, boys are still told to be tough or man up, while girls are praised for being gentle or pretty. These seemingly harmless phrases shape our understanding of what it means to be a man or a woman, and they limit everyone. Let me share two stories that illustrate the complexities of gender equality. The first is about Ramesh, a father who wanted to take paternity leave after his second child was born. His workplace offered it, but his colleagues teased him, saying things like taking a vacation or leave the baby stuff to your wife. Ramesh felt torn. He wanted to be there for his family, but the workplace culture made him feel like he was failing as a professional. The second story is about Priya, a marketing executive. Despite being the most qualified person on her team, she was passed over for a promotion because her boss assumed that she wouldn't be able to handle the pressure as a mother of two. Priya wasn't even asked if she wanted the role. These stories aren't isolated incidents. They reflect the biases, both explicit and unconscious, that still exist in our societies. And they show that gender equality isn't just about helping one group. It's about dismantling the norms that restrict us all. So here's an important point. Achieving gender equality isn't about blaming one group or another. It's about empathy and shared responsibility. Men need to understand the barriers women face, not just in the workplace, but in daily life. Imagine walking home at night, constantly checking over your shoulder because society hasn't done enough to ensure your safety. Women too benefit from understanding the societal pressures men face, like being expected to suppress emotions or prove their worth through financial success. The key is to listen to each other, to see gender equality not as a zero-sum game, but as a win-win. When we break free from stereotypes, we create a world where everyone can be their authentic selves. So what does a more equal world look like? It looks like workplaces where leadership is diverse and inclusive, not because of quotas, but because merit is truly recognized. It looks like families where caregiving and breadwinning are shared based on choice, not expectation. And it looks like schools where boys and girls are encouraged to explore their interests free from the constraints of gender-appropriate activities. So what can we do? Remember, change starts with us. And here's how. Challenge your assumptions. Reflect on the roles and behaviors you unconsciously assign to others based on gender. Be an ally, whether it is advocating for equal pay or supporting paternity leave. Use your voice to amplify equality. Teach the next generation. Raise boys and girls to value empathy, collaboration, and respect over outdated stereotypes. And finally, start conversations. Talk about these issues with friends, family, and colleagues. Change begins with a dialogue. So, what should be a vision for gender equality? To me, gender equality isn't a goal. It's a journey. And every step we take, no matter how small, brings us closer to a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Thank you for being a part of this important conversation. If this episode sparked something in you, share it with someone else. Let's keep the dialogue alive and growing. And yes, don't forget to subscribe to Between Us for more thoughtful discussions on such topics that shape our lives. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay compassionate. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Between Us podcast. This podcast was recorded at Manikpot Studios in Chembur, Mumbai. Our sound engineer is Moinak Chakraborty. The producer is Santosh Kumar, and the associate producer is Samyak Kamble. The Between Us podcast uploads episodes weekly, and we'll see you next time.